My exact method for escaping ruts, because we all know how shit a rut is, right? We've been so productive in the past and we just want to go back to how we were beforehand because we're happiest when we are the most productive. If you're anything like me and you've clicked on this video, that means that you probably love productivity just as much as I do. And that's where you get your enjoyment and fulfillment from. So how do we get out of these ruts and how do we stop ourselves from even getting in ruts in the first place so we can consistently be productive kings? Just understand, guys, that ego is the problem. The reason why you're down is because you're not competing with the previous self beforehand. So your previous self, he was going to the gym, he was doing his skincare, he was brushing his teeth every single day, and then now you're in a rut. You're failing to do the bare minimums like brushing your teeth, sticking to your calories, going to the gym, doing your cardio. And your most productive self was when you were the most happiest in your life. But now you're not getting the same momentum anymore, and it pisses you off. The most enjoyable time in my life personally was January 2023. I got into the best shape I've ever got into. I competed and won in a fight, and I dominated every single round. And this is when I first got into the self improvement grind, really, to be honest. And ever since this day, things got loads better for me. And January 2023, I was super, super dialed in. I was going to the gym at the same time every day, I was waking up at the same time every day. I literally ate the same meals for 30 days in a row at the same time every single day. And then I moved on to February 2023. I thought I could put my feet up because I had such a good month in January, right? And February 2023, I completely lost all my momentum. I went to Budapest. It was an amazing time, but I'm not proud of myself for February 2023. I am still proud of January 2023. And I enjoy myself to this day because of how I was in January 2023. So what you guys have got to remember is what you actually enjoy is what you can look back on and say that you're proud of. So I am very proud of myself for January 2023. I did loads of cool things, loads of self-improvement, loads of grinding and graft, discipline and military style schedule I was following. But in February, it was an amazing time, but I don't look back at it and I'm not proud of my moments. I'm certainly not proud of a lot of the things I did in Budapest. Let's just put it that way. So I personally, and if you're watching this video and you're still watching this, you're probably nodding your head right now because you're the same as me. You love it when you're on the grind, when you're a military schedule and you follow the military schedule as best as you can. You actually enjoy it weirdly more by doing that compared to going out drinking, smoking weed, eating junk food. You enjoy the momentum of being on the self-improvement grind more than the degenerate, self-loathing lifestyle. So just understand, boys, that the prevention is much better than the cure. So you guys have got to think to yourself, what is just 3 things that I need to do daily to take me towards my goals? So if you're trying to get into amazing shape, maybe it could be hitting your calories, going to the gym, and hitting your step goal. That could be your 3 main missions. So what 3 things do you absolutely need to do in order to get to your goals? Only 3 things. I don't want you guys to think of 10 different things. Keep it short and sweet. 3 things. And then think to yourself, what complications can I take away from my life that I don't need? So maybe some vices, maybe some friends that you don't like, maybe your girlfriend you actually don't like too much and you think you should probably break up with her. If you think that now, you should probably just break up with her. And think about the complications in your life that you don't need. Try and think, how can I make my life as simple as possible while still enjoying myself as much as possible? Like I said to you guys, you want to aim to make your life as simple as possible, but weirdly, it's more fun. Because remember, you had the most fun when you were just doing simple stuff. You were sticking to your calories, which was probably one a one ingredient diet, so like whole foods like potatoes, chicken, and meats and vegetables and stuff. And you were doing simple stuff like just going to the gym, going to martial arts, doing simple life stuff. And weirdly, you had more fun by doing that. So just remember that. Try and eliminate friends, vices, going out, dates, meeting up with friends. If you are going to do those things, structure it. And I want you guys to stick to the 80-20 rule. So just understand before I explain what the 80-20 rule is, that you can only monk mode in phases, because you can only monk mode when you know what monk mode is for you, because monk mode only works really well when you know exactly what to do. most people don't actually know what they want to do. I mean, if they don't know what they want to do, how are they going to get there? Because pretty hard to get to a destination if you don't know where you're going, right? You can only monk mode in phases, so you need experiences as well. But prioritize your goals first, always. So that's what I mean by the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time, and this is going to be the first part of the day, you're going to get work done. So 80% of your day is work. 20% of the day is play. And we need times for play. We need that because without that time for play, we're not going to get inspiration for new ideas. Remember what I said, you can only monk mode if you know what you're doing. Most of you guys don't know what you're doing. If you go out and play, maybe you go out for a few drinks, maybe you go meet your friend for a spliff or whatever, and then you have a conversation with that friend, and then they'll tell you an idea that you'd never even came up with. Maybe they tell you something about nutrition. Maybe they tell you something to do with YouTube and content. Maybe they tell you something to do with mixed martial arts, like if you pivot on your kicks a bit more, then your roundhouse kick would be a bit better. Whatever. But you won't get those times for inspiration unless you go out and play. If you just sit inside your room all day and just bang your head against the wall, you'll just drive yourself mental, trust me, and you won't actually be getting as much work as you think. Because if there was a fly on the wall watching you right now as you work, you'd realize how ADHD you are. Every time your phone goes off, you get up off your desk or whatever and you go check your phone, you reply to a few people, you go back to your desk, and then something else comes into your head and then you're back on your phone. You'd realize how ADHD you truly are. So you need that time for play, or else you will just burn out and then you're actually not doing a lot of work. So 80% of the time we're going to be working our tits off, and then 20% of the time is our playtime. But just understand that when you have your playtime, as much as it is degenerate activities, it is still work, because people will give you inspiration, people will give you something to do, and hopefully it gets you into a more deep monk mode when you go back to monk mode. What your problem is, when you are in a rut, you're extra ambitious with goals, but you can't even do the bare minimum right now. You need to drop a few levels first. You're not even doing the bare minimum right now, so why are you being extra ambitious, boys? You miss your calories. Okay, well, I'll eat less tomorrow to make up for it then. So I was supposed to eat 2,500, but I ate 3,500. So tomorrow I'll eat 1,500. We've all done it, boys. I've done it loads of times, and I'm sure you've done it as well. Basically what this is this is little copes. It kind of makes you feel better about the situation that you failed on your goals. You're in that rut right now. And then basically you're trying to make yourself feel better. So whenever you hear that demon voice in your head, don't listen to it, because that demon voice in your head, the one that tells you to do bad stuff, it will ruin your life. The one that tells you to watch porn, the one that tells you to go play some video games, the one that tells you to go text that woman that isn't going to text you back. It will ruin your life, trust me. Maybe it would say something along the lines of, you're feeling too tired today, so you need to do cardio. You don't need to do cardio today. Just do 60 minutes tomorrow instead of 30 minutes today and tomorrow. Whenever you hear that voice in your head, just understand that that is that demon inside your head, and it is going to fuck you up, because we all know that you're not going to go to the gym and do extra cardio tomorrow, because the reason why you couldn't do your 30 minutes today is because you didn't have enough time. That's the cope that you came up with. But then tomorrow it's all good because I'm going to do 60 minutes instead of 30 minutes. But you can't even do 30 minutes today. So just think about the logic behind that, boys. Basically, you've effectively burnt out when you hear this voice. When you start to hear this voice, you're already starting to burn out. Your life is just getting too complicated for yourself right now. So if you guys love Pokemon like I used to back in the day, you'll understand this analogy here. But you need to kill more Onyxes on Victory Road, you know, just before you get to the Elite Four, where you get to fight all of the top Pokemon trainers. There's always this area where all the rocks are, and then there's loads of Onyxes, there's loads of whatever the evolution for Geodude is, I forgot his name, Gravelers. There's loads of Gravelers, there's loads of Onyxes, and you're going to have to kill a few of those on Pokemon to level up your experience a little bit, and then you can take it on. Or maybe if you're a bit more of a nerd and you play all the Dragons games, maybe you need to kill a few little goblins first, and then after you've killed a few goblins, you've got enough experience to then take on the dragon later on, which in this case would be the 60 minutes of cardio, and the goblins are like the 30 minutes of cardio that you should have just done today, really. So just think about this logic as well, boys, because this will help you out more. Not everyone's a nerd like me and played Pokemon when they were younger. But at the moment, what you're doing is basically you started off at the gym and you've worked your way up from 20 kilos to 100 kilos for 15 reps. When you first started, you couldn't even bench press the bar. And if you could only do 2 reps. But after years and years of training, you've managed to get to the point where you can do 100 kilos for 15 reps. And then all of a sudden you get injured and then you have 6 months off. But because you're injured, you're going to go to the gym and you're going to try and lift 110 kilos when you come back. Just think about the logic of that. You either try and match what you did, your previous self, what you were doing before, when you were the most productive person that you've ever been. You're going to try and just go back to that when at the moment you can't even bench press fucking 30 kilos. Just think about the stupid logic there, boys. You would not go, and you were previously bench pressing 100 kilos for 15 reps. You get injured for 6 months. You lose all the muscle. You're not going to then go try and lift 110 kilos when you go to the gym. But that's what you do. That's what I do as well. That's what I've done in the past where, you were supposed to eat 2,500 calories today. You ate 3,500. And then to make up for it, you're going to make it even harder for yourself. And you're going to eat 1,500 calories. But today you couldn't even eat 2,500 calories. You guys are being way, way too ambitious. You guys need to stop being way more ambitious to make up for your misfortune, if anything. Because it's just stupid logic, boys. And you guys use this same logic for diet, discipline, and habits as well. Every time that you guys do this, just remember, you want to start off easy. And I'll talk about that now anyway. But the method, what you want to do is step number 1, is accept the setback. Don't punish yourself more, because what this will do is it'll make you operate on a low vibrational state. And doing anything when you're on a low vibrational state is 20 times harder compared to when you're on a high vibrational state. So the last thing you want to do is get yourself into a low vibrational state. And the way that you would do that is by thinking about how much of a piece of shit you are for doing it. So the first thing you do is just accept the setback. Secondly, drop the load slightly. Like I said to you before, if you got injured on 100 kilos by lifting 100 kilos, you don't then go bench 110 kilos on your first day back after you've been set off for 6 months from an injury. You want to start off easy and have one main mission. Maybe it could be hitting your calories for the day. And then maybe the next day it could be doing your workouts. And then eventually, as you get more ambitious, add some more little tasks. So I would say never go over 5 tasks. I would rather you guys set 5 tasks, get all 5 tasks done, and then have extra stuff if you have more energy, instead of setting yourself 10 tasks and getting 7 done. Even though you're going to get more tasks done, you're still going to feel shit about it the next day. And that's going to ruin your vibrations, and then you're going to burn out again. So I'd much rather you guys start off less ambitious, get 3 tasks done that are good quality, the 3 tasks that will take you towards your goals the most, the biggest needle movers you can do. And then slowly get more and more ambitious. Small, consistent improvements build momentum, boys. And then what this will do is it will regain confidence for you. And you guys just keep the momentum rolling. Slowly add more ambition to your calendar or however you plan it, whether you just write it down on your notes or on your Google Calendar. Do it slowly. And then sense when the voice is entering your head again, because it will eventually get you. Trust me, it will eventually get you. Once you've done that, eliminate all of the complications accordingly. As soon as you start hearing that voice say that the weak voice that says, oh, don't do your 30 minutes of cardio today, just do 60 minutes tomorrow. That means your life's too complicated. That means that one of your friends has rang you up, and then it's more attractive for you to go chill with your friends than it is for you to do whatever you were supposed to do. So if that's the case, you need to find a way to eliminate the complications accordingly. Thank you for watching anyways, boys. If you follow this structure, you'll get out of any single rut that you ever try to. If you ever get put in a rut and you follow this 6-step system that I've just put up on the screen now, you will get out of most rut. And if you want any help on how to just stay out of a rut in the first place, because remember, prevention is key. Prevention is better than the cure. Join Size and Violence, boys. It costs $15. Everything that you can see here is what we have on the course. We've got grappling fundamentals, striking fundamentals, building aesthetic physique and stay when you get there. Stay in the aesthetic physique. Strategies and mindset for fighting, and then just some self-improvement and productivity tactics, which is basically what we're talking about right now. So if you like this type of content, I go into way more detail on the course. It costs $15, boys. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not a lot of money. It's the same as a Netflix subscription or a Spotify subscription. So if you can't afford it and you just don't like me, just give me a comment and just say, look, I don't really want to buy your program because I don't like you. But if you've watched this far into the video, you're probably very similar to myself. So if you want to get a closer connection to myself, join the program, $15, same as a Netflix subscription, but it's a Netflix for self-improvement, being a better man. Thank you for watching, boys. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that bullshit. And I'll see you on the next one.